the presentation, but my name is Juliet McCall and I'm a CSA here at Circle CI. And I'm sure I've spoken to many of you regarding any of your billing and plan questions. And I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to really dive into this exciting change that we're making to our performance plan. So just quickly to dive into a brief agenda. So first, we're going to just walk through the two components of the performance plan, which are credits and active users. Then we're going to dive really deep into the new billing change, the benefits that it adds for your organization. And then I'll do a quick demo of the UI updates, and we'll leave some time at the end for Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Zoom chat. I have my manager, Ryan, on the webinar here with us today. He'll be monitoring the Zoom chat and making sure all your questions are answered. And if they're not answered, we'll be sure to follow up after the webinar. So first, I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Juliet McCall, and I am currently located in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a CSA 2 here at Circle CI, and I started with Circle in December of 2019. I'm sure I've answered many of your billing questions as I help manage our month-to-month Zendesk queue, and I'm really looking forward to walking you through this change and showing all the benefits that it's going to add to your organization. So first, I just really want to dive into Circle CI's definition of a credit. So a credit is one of the components of the performance plan. All builds here at Circle CI consume credits as our subscriptions are usage-based. Different features burn different amounts of credits. And how billing works on our month-to-month plan is you buy a set amount of credit packages upfront to encompass all of your usage. If you need more credits, we'll refill you just to make sure your team is never blocked. And credit consumption is best tracked through the Circle CI UI on the plan usage page. We charge based on usage, so you only pay for what you use. And then quickly to dive into Circle CI's definition of an active user. So the second component of the performance plan is user seats currently. So any active user who triggers a build to run on Circle CI is considered an active user. You can see a more detailed definition here as well as on our website. And one thing we really think that is important to highlight here is that we want to make sure that all users register before pushing to Circle CI. This will allow more transparency into your usage, and you won't be risk being charged for the pesky unregistered user, as this has been a pain point for many of our customers. Now, I'm going to dive really deep into what is changing on the plan. So first, just a breakdown of what the performance plan encompasses now. So currently, the performance plan is broken up into compute credits and user seats, and that cost is separate. You'll have to manually add user seats whenever your team is blocked, and you pay for credits and user seats upfront at the start of the billing cycle. User seats cost $15, and that cost is separate from credits. Now into what is starting in April of 2021. So compute credits and user seat costs are both now in credits. Credits will automatically be deducted when a new user becomes active and starts building on the platform. You'll just pay for credits upfront at the start of the billing cycle, and now user seats will cost 25,000 credits a seat. So just to clarify, the cost is not changing, it's just becoming more simple and flexible for your business. So to dive really deep more into the why of this change. So first, this allows a single unit of cost since you'll be paying for user seats upfront with credits. Next, we'll only pay for what you use. So you'll only spend credits as soon as a user becomes active. Previously, if you had 5 active users building on the platform, but your plan was configured for 10, you would be charged for all 10 of those users. Now you'll only be charged credits when a user is actively building. And this will allow your team to grow more seamlessly. Previously, an error message would appear when there was no available seats on your plan, which was a huge blocker for our customers. Now, when a new user starts building, there's no need to wait or be blocked. I really think it's important to highlight the benefits of this change for you and your organizations. So since you'll no longer have to pay for users and credits separately, you'll only be paying for credits upfront at the start of each billing cycle. If user seats are needed mid-billing period, credits will just automatically be deducted from your credit package. No more error messages as the one that just appeared on the screen when there's not enough user seats available. I'm sure I've spoken to many of you that have encountered this error when building, and we found this was a huge pain point for our customers. So we wanted to just eliminate this error entirely. And you'll only pay for user seats when a user is actively building. So say 1 month you have 3 users that are building, and the next month there's only 2. You'll only be charged for those 2 users that are actively building. Now, to quickly dive into some of the updates to the UI. Obviously, if you have a performance plan, this won't appear on your screen, but as you can see in the red box, there's a breakdown of the credit cost for users as well as the credit cost for compute. While they're broken into 2 categories on this screen here, you'll see that you only need to purchase a set amount of credit packages. So this should give you a good visual of how we're calculating user seats based on this new credit-based model. And then quickly to dive into the plan overview page. So now the UI will be more straightforward and consolidated. There'll be one scale for credits and no need to count or anticipate how many users are building on the plan, since we'll automatically deduct 25,000 credits as soon as a user becomes active. For current customers, you saw on the monthly subscription point where the highlighted point, you would see a breakdown of user seats and credits. Now you'll only see the credit package you've purchased, as well as the credits that you have consumed. And lastly, we really wanted to highlight the breakdown of the plan usage page. You'll see that there's a breakdown for compute and user seats, and you'll be able to look at your historical usage to more accurately plan and reduce the number of repeat refills your team is experiencing. So I definitely think it's important to mention here that if your team is experiencing a high volume of refills currently, before this change goes into effect, to work with the other CSAs to more accurately right size your plan. That way you won't be receiving a high number of refills once this change goes into effect. So feel free to reach out to cs@circleci.com, and we'll be more than happy to schedule a call with you to walk through your plan more in depth. And then just a quick summary of the what, when, and why of this billing change starting in April. So what is changing? User seats will now be billed as credits. You will just buy credits up front each billing cycle, and credits will automatically be deducted when a user starts to build. This change will go live starting April of 2021, and you'll see this change fully implemented on your April invoice. There's no action needed on your end, as if you have the correct number of user seats currently configured for your plan, we'll automatically turn those into credits for you. If in the next few months you're looking to add more users, I would recommend increasing your credit package to more align with the billing change. And lastly, the reason why we thought this change is important is we want to make sure that you focus on what's important, which is building, and not focus on the administrative tasks. We want to avoid any service disruptions and make sure you're paying for what you're actively using. Great. So now we have some time for some Q&A.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Juliet, for going through that. Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan. I'm one of our managers of customer success here. And so I've been monitoring the Q&A that you all typed in. And so Juliet, we just have a couple questions that I wanted to cover off on that I thought you could answer. So the first
Absolutely.
one that people have written in about is, how do I know how many credits I will need?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for that first month, we'll automatically change your user seats into credits. So I would say after the first month of this change to reach out to CS at Circle CI, and we can take a more detailed look at your specific usage and make sure you're signed up for the right credit package. But I also would say if you're looking to bring on more team members in the future, to increase your credit package to just make sure that you have enough credits to align with increasing your team.
Awesome, thanks, Juliet. The next one, I think you covered off on the last slide, but just thought it would be good to reiterate because it did come in. What is changing about the cost for Circle CI, or is anything changing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So no change to cost. This is really just a billing consolidation. This will allow customers to build more seamlessly since you won't have to worry about having a set number of user seats available for your team. So there's no real cost changing as the user seat cost remains the same. So one user seat will be 25,000 credits, which equates to $15 just as it did previously.
Awesome. The next one, Juliet, is obviously you covered off on that customers will pay upfront at the beginning of the billing cycle for credits. However, there's a question about when is a user seat credit deducted?
Yeah, absolutely. So as soon as a user becomes active in Circle CI and pushes that first build, we will just automatically deduct 25,000 credits from your current credit package. So as soon as that user pushes that first build and it becomes active and appears on the active user list, we'll deduct the 25,000 credits.
Perfect. We had another question come in that I think is really interesting. And you kind of pointed out the importance of connecting with our customer success team. The question is, will credits scale based on the number of users actively pushing, or do we need to evaluate this on a monthly basis?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So your credits will not automatically scale as, say, you add more users or you start building, using more compute credits. So it's important that if you're seeing your usage increase and you're seeing that large amount of refill charges, to just go ahead and up your credit package to more closely align with your usage. And usage really is best tracked on the plan usage page, but that's what the CSAs are here for. So we're happy to jump on the call, really dive deeper into your usage and help you plan for the coming months.
Awesome. We had another question come in around how to prevent users from building. So can you kind of go over who has access to Circle CI?
Yeah, so right now we don't have a specific mechanism to block users from building on Circle CI. Anyone that has access to your VCS could potentially push to Circle CI. We do have a tag that they can add to their build. It's called Circle CI skip if a specific build is not needing to run on Circle CI. That's something I can follow up with you after the webinar of that workaround that we've worked with our support team on. But there's no real specific way to block a user from building on Circle CI.
Awesome, thanks for answering that, Juliet. We have a couple questions about when we have multiple orgs or multiple VCSs sharing credits. How are user seats charged in that scenario? And if you don't have the answer to it, we certainly can follow up afterwards.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've seen in unique situations, if a customer is pushing from two different VCSs, say one org is Bitbucket and one's GitHub, that a user seat may be counted twice. But I would love to dive a little more deeper into your plan directly to look at what's going on, as well as if they're all pushing from GitHub, they should only be counted once, but that would be something that I would love to look more in depth with you about.
Awesome. I think that's all of our questions. If there are any other questions, please feel free to write in to cs@circleci.com, and we will be more than happy to follow up with you. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Thanks so much, everyone.